Hello everyone, how's it going? It's your host and founder of the American Rail Club, Demetrius Villa, and yeah, it's been a bit, but this is some pretty great news, and we're going to go over it, and I have some other things also in the pipeline which we're also going to go over, and this is some pretty big news because I've been saying this for a long time about how Brightline, now Virgin Trains USA, can potentially change the way we get around the United States and how we view passenger rail and services here in the United States, and how it can, at this point, basically take over passenger rail service in Florida and move that model all the way up throughout the entire country. And this is one way it's going to do it, from the bottom up, in not just express rail passenger, not just express passenger rail, but also urban passenger rail and getting commuter rail. So this is a big deal. This is in the Miami Herald, September 30th, 2019. Miami-Dade may spend $76 million to build a Virgin Trains rail station by the Aventura Mall. For those of you who don't know, Aventura Mall is probably the largest mall in the Southeast. It is a big freaking deal in South Florida. It's the largest mall in Florida, and I believe it just surpassed now about a year or two ago as the largest mall in the Southeast. It's a very, very big mall. I lived about a mile or two away from Aventura Mall, and of course everybody would want to meet at the mall, and it's a pretty big deal. A lot of people go through there. There's a big transit area where people from Miami-Dade and Broward County, since it's right at the corner where the border of Broward County and the northeastern side of Miami-Dade County, you have a lot of commuters going back and forth between the different counties and the different areas, or up on US 1, which is a very, very traveled corridor, and also the most dangerous road in the United States of America, US 1. I think 5 years and counting now, it's America's most dangerous road, but you get why people would rather take transit or rail up there instead of having to deal with the nightmarish traffic of US 1. Well, the dream may be realized. So let's go to this article, and we're going to go through this, and I'm going to tell you why Virgin Trains USA is going to change the way we get around and is going to probably take over passenger rail transportation in this country with this method. And I'll tell you why. So Miami-Dade may spend $76 million to build a train station near the Aventura Mall to serve the for-profit Virgin Trains USA rail service, using money from Metro Rail and buses to create a new transit hub in one of the most congested areas along the coast. So, for those of you who have been following along, you may have remembered that there was this North Miami Beach transit meeting, and I went there, and it didn't go so well for me because I started bringing up a whole bunch of dirty laundry of the county and how they were misusing and misallocating funds. Especially for the mayor of North Miami Beach at the time, George Vallejo, who is now, he was, I think, in prison and arrested for misallocation and use of campaign funds. So, yeah, pretty corrupt place. And, of course, he sicked over the bailiffs to get me out. But, hey, that's what happens when you start speaking the truth. But now it seems that with that corruption out, Virgin Trains USA has a lot more push and pull within the community because it's been so successful the way they've been marketing this out. I mean, getting Richard Branson into the fold as well, and getting his image on there, whether you like the guy or not. I mean, this has been a game changer. You don't have this much coverage for rail in the United States ever, unless it's Amtrak coming out with a new train, or bad news, like a crash or something like that. And even now, I mean, crashes for Brightline, nobody at this point is really looking at that news anymore. It's a lot of bad news, and we get it, but we got to focus on this because this is pretty good. So Miami-Dade has had this half-penny tax for the longest of time, and that's supposed to go to the Metro Rail. They've had this since the 80s. The Metro Rail was supposed to extend across the entire county. Never happened. They've dropped the ball on it. They said they were going to use this smart plan a couple years ago, which I was trying to really push and trying to bring up the maglev as a potential solution along the western corridor to connect the eastern side to the west side of the county. But of course, it never materialized to them. It's still have it as a, just in case. But now they're going to use the half penny tax, that's what it is, transportation tax to purchase land for the station, and then Virgin would build the station using public dollars, according to the draft memo by Mayor Carlos Jimenez. The Jimenez administration last week was pushing for the agreement to receive its first and final vote before the county commission on Thursday, but a source familiar with the planning said Monday night that a special meeting next week is more likely. So Virgin, which used to be called Brightline, agreed to give Aventura-bound passengers a 35% discount. So what this means, and remember what I mentioned about a couple months ago, that Virgin Trains USA was looking at stations across these areas. For example, Boca Raton, Hollywood, Florida, and Aventura. So these are three popular destinations along the US 1 corridor. Across already, the FEC has that area and plot, and that has that right away already. So if you can put it to use for an urban commuter rail service, that would be an incredible boost. Because right now there's only one actual rail commuter service that serves all three counties, and that's Tri-Rail. And let's be honest, guys, it's not that good. It hasn't been able to really push itself to what it needs to do. And there was a plan, there still is. It hasn't really materialized either, and it's called the Coastal Link. The Tri-Rail has been saying that we're going to use this new Brightline right-of-way, the new FEC right-of-way, to also run a commuter rail to connect this area as well. And Brightline at the time was saying that, yeah, sure, you got to pay this much money so we can be able to have these platforms for you at the station, so we can also run our freight trains and also run our passenger trains as well, safely and in a timely manner. And Tri-Rail said, okay, we'll get the money. At some point, we'll get it. And it didn't really follow through. The city did put the amount of money. I believe the county did as well. The state didn't really do it, and it all fell to pieces there. So Virgin Trains is really taking advantage of this. Because if Tri-Rail can't come up with it, and that's a government organization, the South Florida Rail Transit Agency, if they can't come up with getting into this idea and really sticking on to task with it, Virgin Trains is going to take that and say, you know what? We can run another service that'll be even better. It'll probably be the best run commuter rail service in the United States, bar none, very easily. All they have to do is just put the same amount of attention to detail and the same professionalism as they have been putting into their express passenger rail service, which is essentially sort of a commuter rail service at this point. But again, to serve these communities and have a different service, and they would make a massive amount of not just marketing, but also money. Because remember, it's going to take some time for Brightline and Virgin Trains USA to actually get all the way up to Orlando. That's going to be 2021, 2022. But, at the rate time flies, and as I'm getting older, it doesn't seem that far away. It was only, 5 years ago that we were talking about this. And I just realized today when I was in the shower, there were kids in college today who weren't alive during 9/11. What is going on? I'm getting old. Not yet. It's October the 1st. My birthday's in 29 days. We're getting there. But this is incredible. Because again, okay, so they're going to give a discount, which is a good thing. $9.75 one way to get from Miami to Aventura is a steal of a deal compared to what you're going to be paying on Uber, or the amount of sanity and IQ points you'll be paying burning up in the hot Florida sun and listening to somebody else's music. That's what they call it in South Florida, music. Blaring out of the speakers and taking away your IQ points. Yeah, this is pretty interesting how this is happening. Alice Bravo, Jimenez's transportation director, said the deal would give the county a new rail line to an area not serviced by Metro Rail, not really serviced by any other rail service at all. This is a massive area. Aventura Mall is, because the thing is, malls in America are disappearing. left and right, especially malls that are outside of nice urban areas. I mean, they're falling apart. Here in Indianapolis, over there, the Circle Center Mall is basically dead, and that's right in the center of the city. However, outside of that, outside of the urban core in Castleton, there's a nice, very nice mall that's doing really well. I mean, they're selling Teslas in there. You know, if they have a Tesla dealer in that mall, it's doing pretty well. So, and Aventura also has a Tesla dealer. But this is, again, there's only going to be a very, very few malls left in the United States. And those big malls are really going to serve more as community hubs rather than shopping centers at this point. So malls in America are really trying to change themselves off to become not just a shopping center where you're just going to go to, because everybody knows you're not going to afford Louis Vuitton handbags and couture and all that stuff that they have at Aventura Mall. Nobody goes for that. They go for, spending time with family, friends, and, having a pizza. Well, Sbarro is gone, I think, but you can, have a good meal at the food court or go to, go watch a movie or something like that and, maybe shop around occasionally, and it still does fine. It does more than fine. That's why they've been able to grow. So, again, this is a high-density area, Bravo said, and she's correct on this. We have a number of bus routes that come into the Aventura Mall right now. This serves as a regional hub already. This is a great opportunity. So they've already released a draft 32-page contract between Miami-Dade and Virgin and calls for the depot to be open by October 31st, 2020. So that will be next year. And can they build it in time? Probably. Give it a 3-month buffer in between, so 2021. But still, if they can get it building there now, if they can get this approved and get this going right away, this will bring a massive opportunity and also a big amount of cash flow to Virgin Trains. Remember, this is a new prospect in the United States right now. This is a new, this is disturbing the transportation sector in the United States and passenger rail and, passenger services. People don't want to be driving in cars that are in our generation. We want an easier way to get around. The train is the better way to get around and, within this sort of environment. Because if you're there, of course you drive your car. So let's say for me, again, I live 2 miles away from Aventura Mall. So all I have to do is, my family still does, but if I was still in Miami, I would just drive to the station, and I have free reign to go almost anywhere in the county. Once this is built up, I can go down to downtown Miami, and then take the Metro Rail around that area. I can go up to Fort Lauderdale. I can go up to Boca. I can go, and when this gets built out, I don't even have to go to the Miami station anymore. You have a whole bunch of people living in South Broward County in northern Miami-Dade that all they have to do is just drive to the station and get a ticket to go maybe to Fort Lauderdale, whatever, then transfer onto a train and go all the way over to Orlando. Imagine the amount of people you would be able to move. Imagine the amount of cash flow that you empty out and move and open into that. That is an incredible opportunity. So the Jimenez administration is trying to rush approval for the agreement, with Bravo saying the purchase of targeted land at 19825 Northeast 22nd Avenue is time sensitive. Again, I know where that is. That's close to that's pretty close to an apartment complex that they just opened up over there, which would be incredible if they do, because then you have a lot of, especially millennials that are living in apartments because we can't afford houses, especially in South Florida, which is the number one place in the nation where millennials are still living with their parents. I mean, you can call it a cultural thing, and you can also call it that it's damn expensive in South Florida. The rent is too damn high. It's true. So this is the rendering of the station. It looks fantastic. So again, you park here. You have the bus stations over here. And I believe they're also making a skywalk across the station to go into the mall and to also connect buses into there. So that would be incredible. A Virgin entity obtained an option to purchase the 4-acre site 8 weeks ago, according to a proposed sales contract. So they got the option. They're going to move ahead on this. They're going to move ahead. They got to get this done. Bravo said if Virgin doesn't exercise its July 30th option to purchase the property, the land could go to another buyer, which is probably no other buyers, let's be honest. So again, $76 million that the county is putting in, which is fine. Because, at this point, the government wastes money. We've gone over this. They waste money on everything else. They put millions and billions of dollars into the road systems. How are the roads in America? Are they nice, smooth roads that you can just go from point A to point B without any issues or potholes? No, I don't think so. So, again, with the expenditure of large amounts of tax transit dollars would typically spend weeks working through the legislative and oversight process. The Jimenez administration last week began a push to get the proposal approved quickly. So let me go over here. There was something here that mentioned that Virgin Trains said they won't even need that much money to get it done, that they can be able to get it done. And, of course, they would be operating it, and no taxpayer money would go into the operation or stimulus of it or subsidies. It would just be the option to buy out the land. So they would go ahead and assist in buying out that plot of land, and Virgin would just go ahead and operate from there. And, again, it's just in Miami-Dade County. The Miami-Dade County would do it. So the Treasure Coast, the baby boomers up in the Treasure Coast are saying, there's going to be taxpayer dollars going to get out of this. It's not even their taxpayer dollars, okay? So there. Let's see. Anything else in here that's okay, so I believe they're having a draft tomorrow. It will be today when I get this video out, the 2nd, where they're meeting on it. Let's see. So while the draft Jimenez memo sent to the Transportation Board members shows a total cost of $65 million, Bravo said the latest paperwork requests $76 million in public money. The city of Aventura would contribute $4 million toward the cost, and Aventura's got money. Give me a break. Virgin would not pay anything toward development of the station, Bravo said. She noted the $76 million is a maximum amount, but the actual expense could be lower. So if it's expenses coming from the county, could be higher. But if Brightline or Virgin Trains USA, I gotta get used to saying Virgin Trains USA. I'm just never gonna get that. It's still on the train. It's still there. They're still showing the Brightline train. I get it. It's Virgin Miami Central, but the train is the one that people like. This is the one that kids get models of and go around with. That's the face of it. Start changing that up if they're going to do it. Or at least put like a little thing that says Virgin Brightline. Again, I would much rather it say if the whole project was called Virgin Brightline instead of Virgin Trains. I get it to train. We get it to train. It goes choo-choo. Virgin has signaled plans to build a station in Aventura for months. So again, this has been in the plan, and they said that they've been wanting to do this, and there's so many ways that they can be able to connect this and be able to move people in a much better fashion than we are doing now. So, and again, it mentions the Tri-Rail service that was trying to open up, but it's never materialized. And we know Tri-Rail charges $250 for a one-way trip within Miami-Dade, which, with the constant amount of delays that I used to go on Tri-Rail to go to work back in the day, it's nice to sit down there. And I mean, if you have a delay after work, I mean, you're on the phone and, playing around, reading books or watching YouTube, I mean, it's perfectly fine. So, we can be delayed for as much as you can. So this would be, again, this would be excellent. And again, look at this station. I don't know if I can bring a bigger picture of this. It's not allowing me. Maybe I can open in a new tab and we can zoom in. Can we zoom in? There we are. There we go, guys. That is going to change the way we get around, not just in Florida, but in the rest of the United States. Not a government-run agency that is just focused on just surviving and can get away with the bare minimum, and nobody cares because all the bureaucracy surrounding it will not allow it to move forward, but a private company that wants to be able to be the pinnacle of service in the United States, that wants to constantly raise the bar forward and upward, and they can do stuff like this. This is how government and private companies should work. The government should say, fine, we'll let you go ahead and build this. In fact, we'll go ahead and the money we're going to waste anyway, we'll give it to you because we have no clue how to use it. You can go ahead and use it and build your thing and get people moving. We can't solve traffic, but it seems like you can do a better job at it. Give it to the private sector. So that's what we should do. So that ends this episode, guys. I hope you liked it. I know I got this retro t-shirt here. Remember, All Aboard Florida. Wore this maybe when I was 120 pounds. I'm like 160 now. You know, all the benching I've been doing and getting to the gym. But I got the new one up there. So again, we're still selling it on Teespring. I know I've been gone for a while, but I've gotten my finances in order. I got, you know, myself a steady, good place, good job, career. So what I'm going to do is, you know, focus. This is my side job, and I think this works out better. Instead of going and having 3 different jobs, you know, doing on the side, I can have one place where I can be steady, get that, and then on the off time, just focus on this, which I think works out better, and I'm in a damn good company. I'm a lot better than the last one. I'll just leave it at that. But let me know, guys. And we also got 2 episodes coming out later this month. The first one is going to be Are Millennials Killing Amtrak? So that's the next one coming up. I already got the script almost done. And then the second one, because a lot of people have been asking me about this, and I've been thinking about it and been wanting to do it. I've been a little nervous about it because I don't want to scare people, but it's reality, guys. What would happen to the U.S. rail system in the event of a second American Civil War or Revolutionary War? That's something that we need to focus on and talk about because, you know, guys, it's... I'll leave it for that video. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this new project? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to get more information about American Rail, the American Rail passenger rail system, and rail news around the world. We're going to be focusing more on that. I'm also going to be trying to bring in more historical videos of talking about back in the old days, some railroad history. So it seems like I put out a pretty good, you know, voice on history, so why not do that? All right, we'll see you guys next time and pretty soon. Take care.